There are norms about the transition of power in civilized countries. The idea of a peaceful transition is one that has held democracies and republics together to be successful for as long as they have. The idea that if you are defeated in the democratic or republican process that exists in your country, that you graciously step aside and let the next party take power. And as an exchange for that, the next party agrees typically not to pursue political vengeance against the leaving party. Those norms are going out the window. We've heard for the past year or more that Donald Trump would resist the peaceful transition of power. But this, I believe, was a subversive attempt by the media to introduce the idea for what was actually to come. We've gotten no indication from Trump or his White House or his campaign or his advisors that he plans anything other than a peaceful transition. Sure, he's offering legal challenges to the results of the election. He's offering political challenges to the results of the election, but he's not threatened arms. He has not deployed the military. He doesn't seem to be employing any sort of force to attempt to retain office. All indications are that if he is voted out, he will leave on Inauguration Day. But what are we learning now? We are not in for a quote-unquote bloodless transition. We are not in for a peaceful transition of power because there's another side of that coin. Remember, I said it's not about maintaining your power entirely. It's about the exchange that the following regime will not punish the previous regime. That's gone. Let's go back to 2016, the election of 2016, and let's talk a little bit about Hillary Clinton. Now, during the campaign, severe allegations about criminal wrongdoings by Hillary Clinton, namely involving her use of a private email server during her time as Secretary of State, and her subsequent destruction of information from that email server using a bleach bit wipe on the server. Not like a wipe. I mean a program that wipes out and eliminates data. This culminated in one of the most controversial and also one of the most popular moments of the presidential debates of 2016, when Donald Trump famously said to Hillary Clinton that if he were president, she would be in jail. This drew gasps and hand-wringing from various people in the commentary community, myself included. I was concerned about this because I'm always concerned about a peaceful transition of power. And going after your political opponents after victory is dangerous. That is what has led to endless civil wars in many countries. So I was concerned. However, in the 4 years since that time, Donald Trump has not gone after Hillary Clinton, though he may have even had grounds to do so. He simply refused to pursue it. Not only that, but even in the face of an extremely hostile media, Donald Trump was rather deferential to the media, not really pursuing criminal actions against journalists, despite their cries that he always would. Now, President Obama was much more likely to arrest and punish journalists than President Trump, even though the media fawned over him. You may not know that because the media like to cover it up. I mean, their own be damned. We had to cover for Obama. We can't talk about this. Instead, they projected Obama's bad actions onto Trump's non-actions. They said he would do these things, and he largely didn't. He didn't go after his political opponents in the way that Obama did by using the IRS to go after political organizations and entities that stood opposed to him, as Obama did with the Tea Party. Trump had every opportunity to do this for 4 years and didn't. We were told he would, but he didn't. And I think largely that's in part due to good advice and good counsel and his own wisdom on a failure or on the lack of propriety in pursuing your political opponents when you're in power. But as you can see from the tweet next to me from Congresswoman Cori Bush, and as you can see from my other video, which will be linked at the end of this one, about Trump's attorneys being attacked with sanctions and other threats to their professional careers, that is not going to happen now. The left is out for blood. The left wants to punish their opponents. They want to make the right pay for the past 4 years. They've been screaming and howling for 4 years, and now they want us to pay. And they're going to do it any way they can. This leads to unrest. This is anti-democratic. Let's talk about what's going on. I believe the Republican members of Congress who have indicated or incited this domestic terror attack through their attempts to overturn the election must face consequences. They have broken their sacred oath of office. I'll be introducing a resolution calling for their expulsion. That's from Congresswoman Cori Bush, and she has a draft of her resolution directing the Committee on House Administration, the Committee on Ethics, to investigate and issue a report on whether those members of the House who have sought to overturn the 2020 presidential election have violated their oath of office to uphold the Constitution or the rules of the House of Representatives, and should face sanction, including removal from the House of Representatives. Who's the one undermining democratically elected processes now, Cori Bush? The idea here is that your political opponents must be punished. This is something that is not new to the left. This has existed in left thinking, not Democrat thinking, but left thinking for a very long time. Punish and make impossible opposition to your plans by the opponent. If you punish every opponent, if you bury them in threats, in paperwork, in pain, in prison, if you get them out of your way, you have an unbridled path to power. That's happening now. That's happening now. The congressman who stood up and objected to the electoral votes didn't incite any terror attack. What they did was they followed a law, a legal process, the Electoral Count Act of 1887. This has been on the books forever for this purpose. It is there to allow Congress to question electoral votes. Suggesting that people who use that law are somehow inciting violence or are betraying their oath of office or their oath to uphold the Constitution is deceptive at best. Disgusting is what I would categorize it as. She is now planning to use her political power to punish her political opponents. And the scary thing is, with the recent Democrat wins in Georgia, they may have the power to actually enact this, as the Republicans have now lost control of the Senate. But this isn't the only attack. There are attacks on Trump's attorneys. That'll be linked in a link at the end, a video to talk about the most recent attacks on Trump's attorneys. There will be more attacks. Political operatives on the right are going to be attacked, berated, and destroyed by the media, by the politicians, by the courts, and by big tech. Stay strong. We'll talk to you soon. Drop a comment below. Tell me what you think about this. Peace. Peace.